Okay,
market.
so I've been an accredited investor and invested in that space for a decade.
Me
What
too.
my biggest fear is right now, all of this like access to 401k money to go into the middle markets, the private markets, moving the accredited investor certification, right? It makes me think of like crypto in 2018 and like the Web3 world in 2022. And it's like, who's going to be the biggest sucker? Who's going to be the one left holding the bag? Right now, private equity is left holding massive amounts of wealth on paper,
Yeah.
right? They need exit dummies, right? That doesn't mean there aren't some winners in there, but if you bring all of that capital into the market, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that if the projects are illiquid right now, that doesn't mean that by bringing in more capital, it actually makes the companies worth more. It actually makes them worth less. Because the companies that are actually worth money are not having trouble getting the liquidity that they need out of their equity.
Hmm.
It's the other 99% of like $4 trillion in private equity wealth that's sitting on paper in crap projects that are going to get unloaded to the general public so that the rich can take their balloon payments and move on to the next ones again. Right? Everyone in private equity makes their money on the transaction, not on the whole.
So to me, that speaks even more than to kind of like the decline basically of public markets long term.
Yeah, if those things pass, I want to figure out like if where is the short on the middle market, right? If they're going to open it up to more capital inflows, how can other people short? Because I'm not the only one sitting here thinking about the fact that these companies are worthless.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. I mean, because if you're a high net worth investor right now, and even a lot of institutional investors, like for the most part, you're looking a lot more significantly at private markets now than you were a decade, 2 decades ago. So obviously there are still lots of big players in the public markets, but what you're seeing in the private markets is lots of big players, very few little players, because retail, mom and pop don't have access to those right now. Um, and so as some of these PE portfolio companies get dumped into the public markets, like who's going to lose on those deals? A lot of times it's the retail investors, but if they do away with the accredited rule, eventually I think you start seeing everybody start shifting towards private markets.
Yeah, well, a good example of this is StartEngine, right?
Yeah.
They've helped thousands of companies raise money, and I invested in dozens of them. They're all
Yep.
worthless, right? That's really what this is going to be. Even StartEngine itself is basically worthless. Every time Mr. Wonderful does a live on LinkedIn, I want a message like, what are you doing about my stock? Like, I own a lot of stock in StartEngine, and it is basically worthless. It's worth like, I think 15 cents, and I don't think it trades anywhere reasonably. Um, that to me, StartEngine 2018 to right now, is exactly what's going to happen to most of this middle market paper that gets moved into individual investors' hands through 401ks, through no longer needing accreditation. It is an absolute disaster that is completely designed to give exit liquidity to the smart money followed up by dumb money. There'll be a
So
few winners in there, don't get me wrong. But 99% of people that move their money into that are going to lose their retirement, right? They're going to go chasing bad deals, and private equity is just going to walk away laughing their tails off.